So if you're watching this video, you're probably already pretty familiar with Aputure's products. And if you're one of my subscribers, you know that I am too. In fact, I'm being lit right now by the Aputure 120D, and back there I've got the Tri-8C. I like Aputure's products, I really do. I use them all the time. But Aputure's products, particularly the 120D and the 120D Mark II, are an expensive piece of kit. And that's because they check a lot of boxes, they're good products. But a new manufacturer, Tolifo, has entered the ring with the SK D1200BL. That is what this model is called. And it checks a lot of those same boxes, with a little bit of a twist. This one is bicolor. So this isn't going to be an apples to apples comparison between the 120D and the 120T versus the Tolifo SK-D1200BL, but I am going to share with you what I've learned about this light over the past month of playing with it. So let's get to it. The build quality is metal and plastic. It's metal up here, a little bit of plastic on the back, similar to other lights in this price range. It very much resembles the Aputure 120D. Even the carry bag looks the same, the interior color is the same, it has the same color scheme, black and red on the outside, light gray on the inside. Even the box that it shipped in looks a lot like Aputure's box for what they shipped the 120D in. The control ballast is also metal and plastic. It has a wheel that spins and clicks. The click doesn't do anything as far as I can tell, but it is fun to click. There's a few buttons and a power button. To turn the unit on, you need to first select whether you're using battery power or AC power. You flip the switch to that mode and then you hold down the power button for about 3 seconds. The unit will then turn on. The control ballast does have a shoulder strap, so if you wanted to wear it around with a V-mount battery, it is possible to do that. Or you can just hang it on the U-bracket that the light is mounted to keep it off the ground. It comes with a remote that has a little LCD screen on it that lets you control several different channels of their lights at the same time. The remote is a strange shape, but lots of light manufacturers have weird shaped remotes these days for some reason. This remote only has one-way communication, so if you adjust anything on the light itself, it will not communicate that back to the remote. So say you adjust it all the way down to 3200 Kelvin, the remote still thinks we are at 5600 Kelvin. So if you do any adjustments, it just goes right back to 5600 Kelvin. Which really isn't a deal breaker, it's just something you need to be aware of. Behind the control ballast is a V-mount battery slot, so you can either power it with V-mount batteries, or you can stick the power adapter into it to keep it all in one kind of contained location, because the power adapter intelligently has a V-mount locking mechanism in it, just so you can keep them attached. The light itself has a yellow fan that is peeking through these little air holes. It looks just like the Aputure fan. In fact, it might even be the same fan, but I think they might be pumping a little bit more power through it, and I don't think that it varies with temperature, because once you turn the light on, whether it's at 10% or 100% power, the fan is always blowing the same speed, so it always sounds like the same amount of airflow is going through the light. As far as sound is concerned, it's about as loud as the 300D, but the sound is less colorful. And what I mean by that is the 300D Mark I has a power control unit that has fans in it, and it makes a humming sound. The sound that is coming out of the head of the Tolifo just sounds like whoosh, just like air blowing. It doesn't sound like zzzz. So it's a more pleasant noise than the 300D Mark I, although it's about the same loudness. They did make it so if you do turn the light off with the remote, the fan also turns off, so you don't have to worry about the fan making noise if you're not using your light, which is a good thing because Godox doesn't do that. The most obvious advantage it has over the 120D is that it is bicolor, so you can go from 5600 Kelvin down to 3200 Kelvin. So let's measure it with the UPRTech CV600, get some photometrics, see what the color temperature actually is, how many lumens it produces, and if it's good for flicker or not. I measured this with my UPRTech CV600 spectral color meter. I found that at 3200 Kelvin, the CRI was 98 and the TLCI was 98.6, almost 99, so the color temperature was super accurate and the color quality was very high. Set to 5600 Kelvin, the CCT went down to 5346, so off by 250 points, but the TLCI was still almost 97, which is still excellent color quality. And even with the light down at 10% power, it still passed the flicker test. I was recording the last one there at 1/4000 shutter speed at 120 frames per second. Compared against the Aputure 120D Mark I at 100% power, you can see the Aputure light is about 50% brighter and slightly more color accurate when the Tolefo is on daylight mode. Numbers aside, here is a practical side-by-side example of both lights without color grading and now with color grading. And you can see they are both very capable lights, achieving almost an identical look. So overall, it's a great attempt at making a competing product to Aputure's offering, which was clearly their target. Both Aputure and Tolefo's lights are a great value for what you're paying for different reasons. My take is if a little fan noise doesn't bother you and you need a dual color light and you only have budget for one studio light, Tolefo will definitely fit the bill and you should get it. But if you're in a sound sensitive environment to where you're already turning off fans and computers and things, I would probably recommend the Aputure 120D. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, feel free to hit the subscribe button, and if you're going to pick up either of these lights, I have links to them in the description of this video. If you use those links, it will help support my channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.